Do you want this? It's a Brandon Ayuk jersey. So what we're doing is we're giving it away here at the end of March. All you have to do is be a subscriber. All right, intro.
Now turn up.
All right, what is Marcus Dynasty World Dads? We're going to be going through Jamar Chase, and I guess you could say kind of my hatred towards Jamar Chase. It's not really a hatred. You'll have to see where I have him ranked. I will tell you that, but we're going to go through a little bit about what makes Jamar Chase great first. I mean, ultimately, you look at his 2019 season. With Joe Burrow. He was the alpha to Justin Jefferson, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be better than Justin Jefferson at the next level. Justin Jefferson is a completely different type of wide receiver than Jamar Chase. But Jamar Chase, he had 84 receptions for 1,780 yards and a 21.2 average. So you can tell, just based off the average, we're talking wide receivers usually get 13, 14, not 21. And he had 20 touchdowns. So ultimately, Jamar Chase is a wide receiver that can really, really hone in that deep ball. If you look at some of the things that make him great, he is really good at making subtle movements, especially in that 9 route, to be able to get himself in a position where he can get himself a jump ball. And we are talking about that high point. He is Mr. Jump Ball City. When there's a lot of 50-50 balls, that you can almost just call it an 80-20 ball for Jamar Chase, because he really is an excellent high point catcher and basically high pointing and getting that with his size of being only 6'1". He's not 6'3", he's not 6'4", which a lot of times you see these wide receivers that are really good at that. That's the type of player they are. He is 200 pounds, so he's a little bit bigger than like a Devontae Smith. It's why a lot of people like Jamar Chase better than him. Not me. I don't. So hold your roll. But his biggest problem, Jamar Chase, is his separation. He's not really good at separating. So we talk about his fluid route running. I would say that he needs to work on that. His separation, he uses a lot of physicality with that. So you could see some OPIs and stuff like that. But again, my biggest concern on any wide receiver, and you probably have seen this year in and year out, is wide receivers that cannot separate. Quarterbacks just don't throw there. They see that and they're like, okay, I'm not going to throw there. Now I'm going to say, is Jamar Chase that? Is he Laquan Treadwell? Absolutely not. Is he Cordell Patterson? Absolutely not. And it's kind of ironic that I did 2 Vikings, but Vikings kept drafting wide receivers that were highly talented and couldn't separate. That's beside the point. Anyways, Jamar Chase, also wearing kind of purple and gold, he's a lot better in a lot of situations than those 2 wide receivers I just said. I still think his floor is really decent. I think that he still has some work on some of the big red flags of separation. He has had some concentration drops, but what he lacks in those types of things is he is really good at run after the catch. So he can run over some people at 6'1", 200. I mean, think of a kind of a running back once he gets the ball. I mean, he was like breaking records, run after catch, or run after contact, I should say, after the catch. So we look at a player that looks very similar to like an Anquan Boldin. And Anquan Boldin had a lot of good years in fantasy football. But where would I have Jamar Chase? I wouldn't have him at 102 on my board. So 102 is where the it's where the majority would have people, or would have him. He's been, right now, in the veteran community of Dynasty, he is ahead of ETN, Javonte Williams, he's ahead of Devontae Smith, he's ahead of all those players, which I don't understand that personally. I easily have Javonte Williams and Travis Etienne ahead. I would rather have the safe running back over the safe wide receiver at this point, because I can trade the safe running back for whoever I want with more, because there's more demand on the running backs, less demand on the wide receivers, because there's more wide receivers that are able to produce out there. You only have 1 running back on the field in every team. You can have 2-3 wide receivers that can produce and be top wide receivers on a team, a la Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've done it. Minnesota Vikings have done it. There's plenty of teams that have done it with 2-3 wide receivers. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. They had 3 wide receivers that did decent. And so anyways, back onto my tangent of Jamar Chase. Where he's at right now, and don't yell at me. 1.06 right now. that could move up, but 1.06 is where he's at, but he's wide receiver 2. So if you look at ultimately, Rashad Bateman at that 4.3940, that really is very tempting to put him really close into that tier of Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith. But Jamar Chase, number 2, Devontae Smith, just much more complete wide receiver, really good with separation, and ultimately might be the best Alabama wide receiver in the last 3-4 years. And we are talking better than Jerry Jeudy, better than Henry Ruggs, better than Waddle, and maybe even better than like Calvin Ridley and stuff. So we are talking about that is what Devontae Smith could ultimately be. Yes, I understand. The only knock on Devontae Smith is his BMI. And it's been that way. Sorry, he's 175, but he doesn't play like he's 175. Look at how skinny Justin Jefferson's legs are, and you might go, wow, is he 175? Ultimately, you have these quick twitch athletes. When you have Devontae Smith, who is, in my mind, more of like Stephon Diggs, it's like, would you want Anquan Bolden or do you want Stephon Diggs? What type of wide receiver do you want? What type of wide receiver do you like? And where do they get drafted? That could be a huge change. A lot of these teams are scheme dependent, scheme fit too, that if you see a wide receiver that's going to be in a better scheme, better fit for that type of wide receiver, that could also just kind of bolster or put somebody ahead of somebody. All right, so Jamar Chase, please don't hate me. He is my number for wide receiver 2, 1.06 right now on 1QB, and ultimately down to like 109, 110. I mean, you're getting an awesome wide receiver at 109, 110 in Superflex. Like, that's crazy. But ultimately, that's what this draft class and last draft class have ultimately been, they're going to be, in my mind, 2 foundational pieces. And if you decide to rebuild in 2019, going into these 2020, 2021 draft classes, you are loving it, probably, unless you drafted Keyshawn Vaughn. You are loving it, which you shouldn't have drafted Keyshawn Vaughn, let's be honest. All right. I mean, why would you do that? All right. Let's see if there's anything else I need to say. I don't think so. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. You want Mr. Brandon Ayuk jersey? You've probably heard, if you're a consistent watcher, you probably see this all the time and you want it. Well, we're going to do another one in April here, and you'll have to keep an eye out on what that will be. But we're still in March, so keep out in free agency. We'll probably be producing videos all over the time. Who knows? Whenever I can. Whenever I'm not working, I'll try to produce them. So this is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Now turn up.